Okay, Reusse Unchained, presented by Josh Arnold, investment consultants, Mr. Money Talk. A happy Kirk Cousins week to all who celebrate. We will get there, but hey, the Wolves won that game 109-80 last night. Lakers
Yes.
on a back-to-back. LeBron was a minus 28 and was
Wow.
terrible. You were rifling off texts to me and Judd about Julius Randle. Let's talk some Wolves off the top here, pal.
I really I was at the game the other night when they managed to win 93-92 in one of the ugliest games ever. He had the ball in his hand, Randall, when he was on the court, he had the ball 20% of the time, at least
His time of
20% of the
possession
time.
is, yeah, it's
Yes.
pretty.
I do not want him to have the reason I have Michael Connolly out there is not to make threes, it's to make decisions. And and Randall last night did the same. Fortunately for him, the Lakers no showed because they were on a back to back and they had a tough game. Right, they eked it out at the end,
Yeah.
and Anthony Davis was not. When he's the best player on the floor, which is generally when he's okay, then they got a chance to win. But last night, LeBron would look like he was 100, and Anthony Davis kind of after a while got frustrated and mailed it in. And they looked good, but Randall is driving me crazy. Give up the ball. Give up the ball. Come on. You're not he's he gets the rebound, and he dribbles down the court, and then he starts trying to muscle his way in and make that move. And when he makes that I don't know, Phil, you're a student of the game. What do you think of that little triple move he makes inside? Last night they let him travel twice on one.
Yeah.
He picked up his dribble twice. The officials were so confused by what the hell he was doing, they didn't call him for traveling.
So one thing that was interesting last night, and we on our Flagrant House podcast yesterday, we were mostly just ranting because we hadn't done any podcasts on the Wolves
Yes,
for like 4 days.
yes,
And one thing we brought up was, so Julius Randle kind of is who he is. He operates independently from
yeah.
the rest of the band, right?
You
Like
made
he's
that point to me in a text, and I never thought of it. But you're right.
yeah.
He's playing Julius ball, and the rest of them are playing whatever they want to.
And like Julius Ball sometimes can be really effective because he'll
Yes,
just he'll just do his thing, get points. So what they did last night though was, and he wasn't in foul trouble really. I mean, they reduced his minutes from 35 on average. He played
yes.
24 minutes last night,
That's
and
yeah.
Naz Reid played more minutes than Julius Randle, which has not happened very often at all this season. If they can kind of, hey, listen, Julius, you're still going to start. You can do
Hmm.
your little Julius thing, but it's not going to be for 35 minutes every single
No,
night.
no, let it. The 28-30 is plenty, right? Wouldn't you say 28 to
Yes.
30? That keeps him happy. He can get his points. But as much of a problem as I see him at, their biggest problem is they can't shoot. When Anthony Edwards is shooting like this, he's been awful now for what, uh, 2 weeks,
Yeah.
really, shooting the ball. When he's not making any shots, they don't have shot makers. They don't. I mean, that DiVincenzo might be finding himself now, and he looked really good last night. He looked okay the other night, and yeah, maybe they can get away with having him handle the ball a little more. But uh, I mean, McDaniel's can't shoot. The Nas is in a cold spell shooting the three, and you know they're not a good when Anthony isn't shooting crazy like he was the first 3 weeks, 4 weeks, the first month of the season, making 45% of his
Yeah.
threes. What's he making since he cooled off? 20% of his threes, maybe.
He had a couple
So
4 for 9s in there, but yeah, I mean, DiVincenzo is the fork in the road for, are you a
yes,
good shooting team or not if you're putting up
yes,
40 a game? And he's had back-to-back 3 for 6 from 3-point range games. And so someone put up, a Wolves fan on Twitter yesterday put up, apparently he is just a notoriously terrible starter. The first 18 games of the season, the last 2 years, he was awful from 3-point range. And then, like, after game 20, he started to pick it up. So this is apparently what he does the last few years.
perhaps, but he also uh, the stat I found is that 91% of his threes last year came with an assist, and the other day it was like 75% here. So that
Mhm.
means he's a lot more, catch and shoot for him. But here's the other thing: it was a lot easier for the Knicks to have him play that way because Brunson had the ball always.
Yep.
Brunson always has the ball. So there's no big, you don't have, even when they had Julius, but he wasn't getting the ball instead of Brunson, So it was an easier system for DiVincenzo. DiVincenzo's now trying to learn how to play with these guys, and but I that's why I like the trade. Originally was getting him because they needed a terrific shooter, and they had to get out from under Cat's contract too. So if he gets rolling, they'll be fine. But I don't know about you. Julius is they got to get to his head here and let him know that he shouldn't be dominating the ball like he. But they don't seem to have any problem with it. I don't see
Did it
like
feel like all this
I don't.
chatter, and Judd was in the arena, so maybe he has an answer for this, but like all the chatter, Anthony Edwards coming out and Mike Conley the last few days basically saying we can't talk to each other behind the scenes without someone getting offended. And I don't know. I mean, I'd love to know some names specifically. Is it just Julius? Is it does DiVincenzo get all ruffled when you point something out? But that was, I don't know. They look like they're more connected now after airing all that stuff out, before
Yeah,
the
they were.
Clippers game.
And I think some people too misinterpreted Ant's comment about the fans booed us. I don't think he was criticizing the fans for booing them. He
Yeah.
was pointing out we were so bad the fans were booing us. I don't think it. I didn't hear it, but I just interpreted it as him saying, as an example of how screwed up they were, the fans were forced to boo them, who have filled the arena for every game this year. So
Yeah, that's how I took it too.
Pat,
yeah,
I will say this from Finch's postgame comments last night. It's very clear that Chris Finch did not read your DiVincenzo column on Saturday because his role ain't changing. He had 9 assists last night.
yes,
And he talked about the fact that they would like Nah to handle the ball a little bit more instead of DiVincenzo, but they're going to but it appears that Finch is come hell or high water is going to make what he thinks should happen and not alter it drastically.
Well, and the other thing is, I think last night too, it was pretty easy to get 9 assists when the other team stopped playing in the second
Oh
half.
yeah,
Right? Yeah, I mean,
I'm just
it's
saying I
not
don't think
like
it's changing.
it
Yeah.
was not like a hard nosed game. But you're right. Now they've come up with an injury for Dilling to explain Dillingham's absence. Right? He wasn't
Yes.
dressed last night. He was not dressed. But what's Luka averaging, by the way? Luka must be averaging 5 points a minute, isn't he? Every
Let's
time he
check it out. He
gets
had
the ball.
6 points in 6 minutes last
Yeah, he got
night.
That's right.
6-10 of playing time. We cleared the bench last night. What more
Yes,
could you
I
want?
know, but
Cigars
the
of
other
time
time
last
he
night.
played, he got a couple of baskets.
Terrence
too.
Shannon had a great dunk and then fell down. I thought he damn near broke his tailbone.
So
Yeah.
here's a hilarious line here. The last 3 years, Luka Garza per 36 minutes with the Timberwolves averages 27 points, 9 rebounds on 52% shooting.
Yes, he's a machine. A very well rested machine, but he's a machine. I like him. Give him some minutes instead of the big goof. By the way, did you see the Did you see the DiVincenzo quote about Rudy's been fantastic. He's been terrific.
Effing awesome. He
Yeah.
said,
What the hell is-
he prefaced it by saying, pardon my language, but he's been like effing awesome. It's like, well, you don't need to use the F if you need to pardon your language, but
No.
I thought
whatever.
having the Team Rudy T-shirt was a little over the top there post game, but
Oh man, alive! He was really good last night on the 1.5 footers. So he was putting those in left and right.
well, then
So,
he had the interception at half court and took it home for a
Yes.
breakaway dunk. Man, he was it was
but
impressive.
when the other team doesn't show up after about 14 minutes, 16, 17 minutes, it's kind of hard to say things are cured here because now they're going on the road for 3 games, 2 of which are against Golden State, which is averaging 120 points a night or something. They're making threes all over the place. So, by the
Yeah. By
way,
the way, wait, Luka Garza, real quick. The charge he took. Is he one of the only players that will step into garbage time in a 20-point game
take
and
a
just get
charge.
railroaded by a charge?
Yes.
He's got to be noticed.
Yeah. By the way, I spent a few minutes last night watching the Celtics game. It's the damnedest excuse for basketball I've ever seen. They just throw them up. Derek White just comes down and he said, throws one up from like 29 feet and it goes in. And it's just, it's unbelievable. They don't look for anything else but threes. It's they're shooting 50 a game. It's incredible. Just blowing teams out.
They had 4 different players take at least 11 threes in that game last night.
Wow, it's unbelievable. This Pritchard has no conscience. He comes in and starts firing them, man. It's I don't think he starts, but he comes in and just
he's the half-court shot specialist too, right? He hit like 2 half-quarters in the finals last year. Guy's crazy.
Speaking of hoops, I just got off the phone with Izzo for 20 minutes. That was fun, getting ready to talk about. He said about all the changes in the transfers and NIL. He says, I've swore I'm not talking about it. And then he talked about it for 5 or 6 minutes. So, he's going to, this is year 30 for him there and he was there 11 years with Judd Heathcote before that. So 41 years there.
Wow.
And he turned 70 in January, but does not feel like he's going to give it up anytime soon. So anyway, and I was reminded again that he and Steve Mariucci grew up together in Iron Mountain, Michigan, and were the best buddies. And you can find pictures on the internet of those 2 guys the summer after their high school year, driving around the country, going visiting place, and probably looking and having Mariucci get them some companionship too on the way, I would think. So anyway, it's astounding because that's a town of 1,500 people or something like that, an old mining town up in the Upper Peninsula.
Yeah, Pat, we have to ask you about Rob Manfred. Rob Manfred said there's a variety of rule changes that are being talked about for Major League Baseball. One of them, there was a little buzz around it at an owners meeting, was the idea of a golden at bat.
That's it. I'm done. If they come up with the golden at bat, I'm a soccer guy from now on. I'm going to soccer.
So you could
we got the golden goal.
From what I understand, you could choose one at bat at any point in the game and bring whoever you want up to the plate out of order, right?
Okay, you just struck out Ohtani, but you got to do it again.
Yep.
Okay?
Right?
Yep.
There's 2 on, 1 out.
Yep.
You strike out Ohtani,
I'm in.
Now you got to do it again.
So in. I'm so in on
Let's
this.
vote. I'm in.
I'm in.
Declan's
I love
in.
this. I love this.
No, speed up rules are all. I love speed up rules.
I would rather, when I throw the golden at bat, I can only think of one thing. The golden shower. That's the only thing I could think of.
Oh, you went there. You went there. I thought of it, but I didn't go there.
We saw so many at bats.
I went there. I looked up to get the definition of it because I want Manfred to be
Oh boy.
properly abused with that. So what a moron! What a moron! Just stick with the clock. You did okay. By the way, they've figured out how to beat the clock now. We've added 15 minutes back onto the game.
It's still better.
Yeah, it is better.
It's better.
And we're going to get your, I think you're not going to get the electronic strike zone, but you're going to get the challenge system in a couple of years, right?
Okay.
You're going to get the challenge system. If they come up with this,
Are you really done?
No way. I'm done. Well, I might be dead, but I'm, from my grave, I'll be screaming at this. I saw that, and I hope he shows up in town and has a press conference, because I will do a Sid like press conference where Sid was bad mouthing Hedrick for hiring Denny Green instead of his buddy Pete Carroll. I'd get up and start lecturing him on being a moron and get thrown out by security if he shows up with the golden bat. What a jackass.
Yeah, I mean,
Unbelievable. To even mention
respectfully,
it.
I completely disagree with everything you just said. And
I
I
agree.
can't wait. I can't wait for this to happen. They even outline an example that the Royals use their golden at bat to let Bobby Witt Jr. lead off the ninth inning, and he makes an out. But look, who's scheduled to bat second? Bobby Witt Jr. comes back up.
I'm
go.
throwing right at Bobby Witt's head.
Yes, right.
Both
That
times.
ball's coming in right between the eyes then.
Manfred
Here's your
still-
at bat.
This Manfred doesn't sit down there in the good seats at the World Series like Bowie Kuhn used to in the rain, does he?
No.
Because I'd throw a ball right at his head if he was sitting there and just try to nail him in the head. This is the stupidest thing.
Okay, hold on.
I've
Here's a
ever
question. Logistically, let's say Bobby Witt is scheduled to come up, or Shohei. Let's use Shohei. He comes up and he draws a walk, and then so he's on first base, and then the
Then you
next
walk
batter.
him again. You
But
walk him
then
again. What do
is
you
he
walk him again?
ineligible? Is he ineligible to bat because he's on base, or could you pinch run for him and then bring
if
him
you
back
got-
up to the plate?
I would say the golden bat would override anything, and you could just send out Herb Washington to run for Otani. And
Can I
Oh,
choose
God,
a
that'd be
hitter
great.
from another team? Oh, you got Aaron Judge.
That's next. Yeah, you want wrestling chaos in
Oh,
baseball.
it'd be great.
God
Wait a
almighty.
second. Juan Soto is here at Target Field.
what is you know what he's saying? I hate baseball.
Well, he's not
I
wrong.
hate baseball. We got a commissioner who hates baseball. You know, what a
Oh,
jackass. Unbelievable. If the golden bat had come out 2 days ago, if I knew about it, Joe Poland would not have been the turkey of the year. I guarantee it would have been.
Give it
this-
time, Reusse. You got 2025. It's a whole new canvas for turkeys.
Well, he might have already clinched it for just mentioning this. Just mentioning this. This is you can't do this to us old baseball fans. You can't do that to us. You know, you gotta. It's just don't even bring it
Hey,
up.
okay, what if for you guys, what if it was a golden shift where once per game you can move the shortstop
Shift,
back
okay.
across
Yeah.
You can bring on 12 guys. Just throw them anywhere.
your whole
You'll
team
never
is
get
out
a
there.
hit.
But so then did we just move the order back, or he's a pitch hitter, the golden batter?
I think he parachutes in, and
He's
it's
a
like
parachuter.
he just like squeezes between
You
where the
think
lineup
this
was
might
supposed to be.
You think this might distort baseball's records too, with or RBIs? You know, Soto had 210 RBIs. 60 of them came with the bases loaded when he had his golden at bat.
Yeah.
you
Well,
know?
and in theory, let's say Juan Soto plays in 145 games.
Yes.
You would probably look to get him 145 golden at bats, right? You'd want to get him
Yes,
up,
right, yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
he
What's
would
his war
have
then? His war's going to climb too.
War's
100%.
gonna
Yeah,
be
you'd have
fantastic.
crazy numbers.
Yeah, plus you're right. He's going to have, instead of having 650 at bats, he'll have 800 at bats. You know, he'll have 800 at bats. What a they probably have a rule that you can't walk the golden batter, right? You can't intentionally walk the.
You
can
have
walk
to
the
you
golden
have to
batter?
face him.
You have
huh?
to
You
face
gotta
him, yeah.
pitch. You got to pitch to the golden batter.
And does the golden at bat count toward the 3-batter minimum on the pitcher, or does it make it so he has to stay out there for 4? Because
there's a whole lot of things to be.
What would
figured out
Mays
here
have done with the
golden-
golden at bat in the 54 series if you could have just had a golden at bat back there?
Sorry, now you got to
Yes.
face that guy again who just
Yes.
took you to the. edge
Don
of
Larson's
the
perfect
22.
game in Big
Yeah,
Jeopardy
Vic
here.
Wirtz and Willie Mays.
Jackie
ran
Robinson,
the ball
golden
down
bat.
in center field. We could have had him bat again. You know, see if he can hit it over
You know what we need,
Willie's
Pat?
head this time. You know,
Here's what the rule should be for the golden at bat. You can position extra outfielders in the stands, And if the home run is caught, it's an out. It's an out. So the guy can go sit in the stands.
Drawn, they can't be. They got to be drawn by a lot. So you can be that. What is the dumbest rule that has ever been added to a major professional sport in the United States of America? What is the worst rule that we've ever added?
Wow.
The 3-point shot.
Well, yeah. Well, hey, I don't.
The shootout is not far off, but if they go to the golden at bat, I think the next step, home run derby to end games that go past 9.
Yes, well that's probably
clock or innings.
I would
Swings, yeah, swings are which one?
No, 9 o'clock or 9 innings.
I would have a better. I would have more faith in a home run derby than I would the golden at bat. That's
That's great.
I should call manager Kelly and ask him what he thinks.
Oh God, that'd be a great column. There you go.
And then rehash some history. Go back to those World Series.
91. Jack, who gets the golden at bat for the Braves?
Yes, who does get the golden at bat?
David Justice is back up here.
Oh God.
Oh, here comes Mark Lemke again, and he's had a great World Series.
I tell you what, I didn't hear about the golden at bat until about 11 o'clock last night. I couldn't sleep for 2 hours. All I had in my mind was the golden at bat and how I'd want to find Manfred and kick him square in the crotch.
I love it. All
Without
right, Pat.
any warning.
We got to run. You have to investigate the specific rules of the golden at bat, and we will celebrate Kirk Cousins' week later this week with you, sir.
I had a nice interview this morning. I was all calm and everything, ready to sit down, and then you guys brought that up. All right, see you later.
See ya. Reusse Unchained, presented by Josh Arnold.